And this is the brand new KICKER WXA 3600.1 Warhorse. It's here. We're going to put this thing on a KICKER L7X 12 and see how loud it gets compared to the KXA 2400 that I originally have on it. And of course, we're going to look at it, talk about its features, and you might want to stay around till the end because we got some amp guts too. See, apples versus apples, same kind of setup, but with a bigger amp. Let's see if we can get any more power. We got the Multitone Generator Pro hooked up to the second phone here, 32.4 hertz. Trust me, it's 32.4. And of course we have the Livin Loud Andy floor mats that are in there for extra dBs. Again, testing is down in the kick. Let's see what we can get. We got a 148.5 on 3,132 watts. That is awesome. That is really awesome, and that's a good score. What we're gonna do is we're gonna test what it does at 250 watts, 500, 1,000, 2,000, and then full tilt boogie. I'm excited for you guys to be able to get one of these Warhorses and match it with the L7X. Now this is wired at half ohm. I just want to get the most out of the amplifier, plus doing what I do, you know, it's just, let's push it to the limit and test the equipment to see how it handles. But I'm rising to 2 ohms, so it's not really hurting the amplifier whatsoever. But still, man, this thing does awesome. It's super compact. It's literally the size of the KXA 2400 in the width department, just a little bit deeper. And I think that's something that people just don't, they just want to have the big amplifiers, the surfboards, and those look cool, they're great, trust me, I love my old Warhorse, but this is a lot of power, and it's not with cheap internals. You can wire it down, it's going to handle it. If it doesn't, it's going to go into protect and say, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that, and it's going to have the KICKER warranty in case anything does happen. But still, let's keep moving forward. This was the SPL test portion of it, and let's get going. I know you guys seen what it could do on an L7X 12, but let's just talk about the specs. Let's take a good look at it and just see what this thing is all about. Oh yeah, certified 4,625 watts, berth sheet, looks good. Pretty heavy. Man, I will actually show you a comparison between this and the KXA 2400.1. This Warhorse amplifier is literally the same length, pretty much, as the KXA 2400.1. Now, the height, the Warhorse is probably a 1/4 inch taller, pretty much the same size, but the depth is the difference between the two here. Take a look at this. That is smacked up onto the left side there, and you can see, like, this one just looks longer, but it's skinnier. This one's wider, same length, so, you know, another 1,200 watts, give or take, on top of what the 2400 can do. There you go. There's your size difference. Again, a ton of power in a small package. Now, I'm going to show you another comparison. Before we really take a look at this thing, let's see how much smaller it is than the old school Warhorse. Yes, I got it sitting right over here. We are ready for this. There goes my back. Now, this amplifier might not look very small. It's pretty much the length of my hand here. But if you look at it compared to the old school Warhorse, there is no comparison. The Warhorse is literally a 1, a 2, a 3, almost 4 times the size of this Warhorse. And this one does half the amount of power as this one does. And that's just 20 plus years of technology advancements. And, you know, this big guy here was ahead of its time. And hey, you know, just to get the most power out of an amplifier back then was the name of the game. And not many people had a 10,000 watt monoblock amplifier back then in 2008. So still a relic, and I will always hold on to this Warhorse because they are just so cool. I promise you guys some gut shots, but let's go take a look at this amplifier and just talk about what it does. You know, just look at it. All right, so we got the Warhorse here. We're going to use some pretty nice cameras so we can get some close-up shots of just everything that's going on with this amplifier, the input section, the output section, you know, just talk about it. Let's just look at these right here. 2 sets of 0 gauge inputs with dual remotes. So no, you don't need to hook up both of them. That's just so that you can run one from one amplifier to another. Now let's spin this guy around here and look at the output section right here. Tiffany style RCAs here. We got our gain, we got our crossover, we got a subsonic at 25 hertz at minus 24 dB per octave, high and low level input, so that you can literally just take your high level and put it right into the RCAs with the Kissel. And comp mode, DC turn on and off. Between, I got it about a week and a half ago from when I'm filming this now, I've had it in Kayla's Eclipse with the L7X, and it's been doing great. And I did come across a few things, and you guys can check out the user manual in the description below if you want to take a look at it and just, you know, see for yourself everything about this amplifier. Just kind of skimming over things, but to keep it kind of simple, I've had some experience with it. And the big thing with this amplifier is with the competition mode, that is entirely different than I've pretty much seen any amplifier. There might be some out there, but I have never seen them. The competition mode, what that does is it locks your gain. So yeah, no more gain. No more gain. That's all you get. Locks the crossover point so that your amplifiers don't have an issue with maybe a little bit of phase as well alongside the gain locking. And one other thing that I did not realize, I must have skipped in the manual, it also locks the bass knob control level. So you have to use an RCA dedicated bass knob in order to use the competition mode to have any kind of control of this amplifier that you normally would with the bass knob that comes with it. So keep that in mind. But if you're running 2 of these, maybe you don't really need a bass knob, and that's what's so great about the next thing I'm going to show you. This guy right here is so cool. It shows you temperature and reasons why that, hey, maybe why the amplifier is in protect. Is it the power supply section? Is the output section? It'll actually tell you on the little light indicators, green, red, etc. And when you press the little button here down below, it will cycle through from low to high. So it'll show you your lowest volt drop and your highest volt that you've been charging at since you started the amplifier. It will reset every time the amplifier turns on or off. And all that is connected by is an Ethernet connection, and pretty simple. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, which is even cooler of how that works, is just with the bass knob. And yes, it's a 3.5 millimeter. It's not the wireless Bluetooth. We miss you, KXA, but hey, who knows? Either way, for the bass heads that are going to be using this, you might not even need it anyway, but Kicker makes sure that you got one anyway. Now, this one right here, this little bass knob, right? Take a look at it. It's really nice. It's tactile. Like when you click it, you can actually feel like it moving. It doesn't just spin and you don't know where you're at. You can kind of count these clicks. And with all the testing that I've done, each click doesn't technically mean, you know, boom, here's volume 12, boom, here's volume 13. You can give little subtle clicks in between to get very good accuracy of just, hey, maybe you want it right there and not one click up, because every ugga-dugga could count for more. Side note with this, the bass knob on the back there, there's actually a lock. If you can see that, you can unscrew that and lock your 3.5 millimeter jack. So when you're really loud beating down the block, and say you got a little bit of vibration, either on here or on the amplifier, it will keep it locked in place. And I think that is the coolest thing. I forgot to mention that there are actually 4 gauge outputs on this, 2 sets of them. And that is just, in my opinion, overkill. But I mean, if you're running this amplifier like 20 plus feet of wiring, hey, maybe it does make sense to beef up on your wires just in case. It does come with an Ethernet wire for this guy right here, Allen's keys and screws to bolt it down, and the 3.5 millimeter cable, which everything that you need. All right, next we're gonna take a look at the guts of this amplifier inside. Drum roll, please. Now, this thing is just super clean inside here. Kicker WXA 3600.1. I like how that's right there. Stillwater Designs. Look at that. USA Designs, Engineering. Dude, Kicker here on the bottom. WXA 3600.1. September 20th. 2023 is right there on the bottom here. That's pretty cool. And you know, hey, man, we waited a long time for these amplifiers and they are finally here. Let's go take this over to the desk and get some close-ups of this Warhorse. Yeah, get ready.